welcoming you to another edition of the My PD Peeps pod, where we talk with Parkinson's warriors about their journey through Parkinson's disease. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a little starstruck today. So if I mess up, I'm going to blame Parkinson's because that's one of the benefits. That's what I can do because I'm allowed to.
Yep, yep.
I want people to know who they're talking to. This is a man, in my opinion, rock and roll royalty. Cold Sweat, Cold Gin. Everybody knows Saigon Kick. I'm in love with one of his latest projects, Canal. A lot of you might know him as a Parkinson's warrior. I'm going to tell you how I know this man. It's not every day that you get a chance to thank somebody who helped you with women or girls in high school back in the 90s. So if you're one of those girls that was standing on a corner in Bayonne, New Jersey, and you saw this really cool two-door Dodge Neon stroll down, and all you heard was, "Love is on the way."
Yeah, there you go.
We're going to thank this gentleman right here. Thank you so much, rock and roll legend, Chris McLernon. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's a blast to be here.
This is so cool. Like I said, I'm a little starstruck, so hopefully we won't have to edit much. Listen,
I would say who you having on here.
Listen, I would be a bad host. I know this is about Parkinson's awareness, and we're going to get to that dreaded disease that we all suffer with every day, and some of the good and the bad there. But let's talk about some fun stuff. I guess in the music industry, you'd call it a hook. Let's get the audience happy about what we're talking about and keep them wanting to listen. So let's just talk a little bit about some of the unbelievable things that you've done. Briefly, where did you start? Like, what made you want to get into music? And I'm going to assume the Beatles, like everybody else, maybe not. But then also,
you're dead right, Beatles.
Okay, so tell me about that moment, and then also tell me about the moment where listen, not everybody wakes up and says, "I'm going to be Eric Clapton." When did you realize not only that you wanted to do it, but that you could do it?
Beatles. Well, I was living in Ohio at the time, and there's a channel in Cleveland called WUAB, and they were playing for some reason Hard Day's Night all weekend. And I saw that, and I already played guitar a little bit, but my guitar had broken, so I needed to get it fixed. So that movie made me go get it fixed because it was the first time I saw music as being fun. They were smiling, they were having a good time, they were smart asses. It was a blast. I'm going, wait a minute. The nuns at Our Lady of Grace didn't really tell me much about this part. So,
looks too cool.
Right, yeah. So then you start playing and realizing, hey, I'm pretty good at this, And I don't try, because I was a jock up until that point. I mean, which I was good at. My cousin, also from the same town, and my godmother's son, played for the Saints and the Patriots. So,
wow.
Yeah. Like me, not a big guy, big guy, but, big hands and quick. So he, so we were both kind of marveling. We came from this tiny little town in Ohio. How do we do that? And I think it was we both had, for the lack of a better phrase, love of the game. As I started going through high school, and I went to a school in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. I played my first gig there, and I was like, hey, this is kind of natural and even more fun than watching the Beatles. So went to college out in Wisconsin, Madison, and I had a friend there who said, we got to go to LA. And this is, as I put it, was the last great exodus to stardom, where you had some people in the 20s and 30s, they got to be a movie star.
Yeah.
Well, this was the last one where everyone went out on the Sunset Strip and heard, okay, I'm going to make it, man. And let me tell you, I got there and went, oh, I look like everybody else. Because I was coming from Madison. I stuck out like a sore thumb.
Right.
One of the best guitar players in town, all that stuff, and just got out to LA and got bent over the knee and spanked.
I'm sure not for long.
Well, at least I was smart about it because I had two things working in my favor. I still do make my living playing bass.
Yes.
So I went to a Guitar Wars thing when me and my buddy Ralph, and we're like, yeah, we're hot shots in Madison, and we're going to be fine, right? We go to the whiskey. I didn't take the guitar out of the case because everyone just smoked me so bad. And the winner, I think, that night was Paul Gilbert. So it shows you what we were up against.
Yeah.
So I got out there, and my buddy Anthony said, hey, man, you've been playing bass on our demos. Why don't you just play bass? And I was kind of offended. I was like, hey, I work with a guitar player. It's like back to football for a second. You're a wide receiver. They turn around and make you a DB. It's like, no. So, but it worked. He was right. And my dad said the same thing. My dad said, look, you'll double your chances of making it. So I took the same work ethic and stuck it into bass playing, and here I am.
It's awesome. And then one of your next moves after I believe it was Cold Sweat was we went
Yeah.
to Cold Gin, which I
Yeah.
believe was a premier Kiss cover band.
Yep.
And you played the role of Gene, if I'm not mistaken.
I did, because I mean, look at me. We're just dead ringers for each other.
Well,
Like
I'm gonna be
dog.
honest with you. I saw a podcast, and I don't know if you mean to do this, but you do a hell of a Gene impersonation. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's hysterical. And I will tell you, I'm a huge Kiss fan,
Good.
but
Me too.
knowing Gene Simmons, I feel like he would sell his firstborn for a penny.
Oh, God,
So
yeah.
I want you to explain to the audience because I think it's such an awesome story. And to me, this is your I made it moment. Maybe I'm wrong. How in the world did you get money out of Gene Simmons?
I have a peripheral story to that, too. We were hired by Gene to play Paul Stanley's birthday party, which Paul talks about it in his book, like chapter 40 or something, or the beginning of the chapter. And Tommy Thayer had, who was proven to be immensely valuable to their organization, said,
And played with you, by the way, in
oh,
Cold
yeah,
Gin. Yeah.
you got a good promotion there. But Tommy was like, Gene's going to pay us if we play this. And I was like, I got to see this. So Tommy goes, all right, man, we got $100 coming each of us. Like, hot dog. I wish I still had the check. That would have been brilliant if I'd been forward thinking enough. But later that night, we're standing there, and some guy says, "Hey, Gene, you look really good." And he goes, "Well, I'll tell anybody. I had lipo." I'm thinking to myself, "Oh my God!" And the guy goes, "Well, how much was it?" He pulls out his wallet and he goes, "Don't put that in front of me. I'll take it. I'll take it." So he's unabashedly Gene Simmons. There's everything you've heard is true and more.
And
But
let me
there's
ask
two
you,
Genes. There's Gene the rock star and the legend,
right,
and there's Gene the guy who's in a band like me.
right.
So it's fun to watch him turn the switch on and off, because when you get Gene the rock star, you want to push him in the dirt.
He'll probably tell you from what I've seen. He I don't think he thinks of himself as a great bass player, but I think he is. I
Totally
mean,
agree. He's a great bass player.
Ned, did you guys have a lot of interaction with them? Like,
Oh,
did
yeah.
they have? I'm sure you did, as far as with what you were doing, trying to mimic what they were doing. I mean, was there a lot of feedback from them?
Oh, absolutely there was. Both of them, mostly Paul, because he's such a mental archivist, would say, okay, you guys are playing that riff right. Like, for example, there's one on Cold Gin that we were just missing a subtle little thing, but it made the song sound correct.
Right.
So Gene would say, Gene was the one who told me that the eggs were the secret to the blood. Eggs and red food coloring. And you'll see these recipes for yogurt and the egg shells. Nope. He
No.
said it's raw eggs and don't break the yolk. I said, how
Wow.
come? He said, because you want to kind of goop out real quick. I was like, all right, go. And guess what? He was right.
And I'll tell you what, Tommy Thayer was perfect. I mean, for that band.
Yep.
I mean, I'm surprised we couldn't get rid of Gene to get you in there. I mean, I don't know what happened, but
I know. Greedy bastard.
What really? I mean, but what an unbelievable way to start. I mean, and then obviously, you move on to the legendary band Saigon Kick.
Yeah.
Huge hits. I mean, you were with them for a long duration of time. I mean, like I said, who hasn't? I can't imagine how many times you've played "Love Is on the Way" in your lifetime.
Oh man, there was one section when it was a hit. We played it, including the show, I think 8 or 9 times in one day. And I'm fine with that, man, because that's what I mean. There are
Paid the
bands
bills,
that get
right?
tired of it, but you've worked your entire life for this. Don't complain.
I mean, you had to have so many of those "I made it" moments along the way. I mean, you have such an unbelievable story. And not to just jump past Saigon Kick, but I know everybody knows that. I got to tell you, I love Canal. I absolutely love it. I could be wrong. I'm certainly not the music buff that you are, but I listen to it and I hear. Listen, I think your voice is a little Ace Frehley-ish. And I hope you take that as a compliment because I think it's awesome. I hear Canal and I hear Thin Lizzy meets Ace Frehley and a little bit of Shinedown mixed in there. I don't know.
Well, Thin Lizzy for sure. The assignment for myself was take a record and try to write it for as if Thin Lizzy was going to record it tomorrow. Okay. So, and then Shinedown is easy because they're friends of mine, so I get to hang out and pick their brains. So that helps. Ace Frehley, probably just by osmosis, can't help it. I was thinking of him singing New York Groove earlier today. Just he's just Ace Frehley. He just
I
is.
just hear 2000 Man and I hear you singing it.
Have you ever
It
heard the
just,
original of that?
was that
Have you ever heard the original of that song? The Stones version?
2000 Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah, it's amazing because I never would have heard Ace's version out of that song.
Wow.
It's incredible. I was like, wow, because I really don't like the Stones version, but it's kind of like the Blinded by the Light
Yeah.
idea. Let's make it so different. And they did.
I'll tell you, when I was listening to Canal, there was one song, I want to say it had a little bit of like it was Kingpin, I think. It had a little bit of a Don Henley Dirty Laundry intro type. It was it horns
Ooh,
in the beginning of that? That's
cool. Yeah, it does kind of. I never thought. Again, these things you think of, like when someone points it out. There was another song on there where somebody said, "Hey, do you realize you did this?" I was like, no, but don't tell anybody."
yeah, but it's awesome. So leave it alone.
Right, exactly. I'm not going to repeat it.
So a couple more quickies before we dive into the PD.
Sure.
Um, Obviously, I'm going to ask you questions that I can't ask everybody else because you have some unbelievable stories. You told the Gene story.
Yep.
Tell me, how did you wind up bowling Eddie Van Halen?
That's my favorite because I have a buddy who still says to this day, if I get a little down, he goes, "Dude, you asked Ed Van Halen to jam, right? You win." So whenever I kind of go, it's not going so good, I think, you know what, not bad. So Ed was producing a band called Private Life, and they were rehearsing in Sound City, which you had mentioned in your email to
Love
me.
it.
So Sound City was the rehearsal rooms were across the street from the actual studio. So I came out of rehearsal one day because our singer had, on the day we were getting signed, quit and joined a lynch mob, which we were so we were in the process of looking for Roy Cathy, and we hadn't found him yet. So I walk outside and I'm fooling around and I'm singing this song called Highwire by Badlands, right?
Yeah.
And there's this fuzzy headed guy with like one of those big old brick Motorola phones, and he's like, and a short dude, and I'm like, I'm just going for it. I know him a lot, and he turns his head away, like, trying to get it off his call. So, oh man, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. He turns around and goes, "Yeah, it's fine." I was like, "Holy shit, that's Ed Van Halen!" And I walked about 5 more feet, came back and said, "Hi," of course, because I'm who I am. "Hi, how you doing, man? It's so nice to meet you." He's like, "Yeah, great." So I go into Sound City and I'm like, "Dude, you are never gonna believe who I just met," and told him. So we go back in, and they're already in producing mode, and they're busy. So I walk by the room in the next couple of days, and the door is open. He's the only one in there, and he's playing Manic Depression by Hendrix on a white Kabiki bass. So that riff, boom, boom, right? So I walk by, I'm like, wow, cool. And he puts the bass down and runs after us and follows us to our room. And I mean, he is now, me to you. Well, you know what I mean? Close. So, and I'm like, holy shit, he's right there. And Anthony, our drummer, because he and I used to show up early for work. We just like playing. And so I turn to Ed and I go, "Hey, man, like, I'm the king of hilarity." I said, "Hey, I play bass, he plays drums. You play guitar, like, ha ha, you're Eddie Van Halen. Wouldn't it be fun? Ha ha." And he goes, "Yeah, sure, what do you want to play?" And I'm like, "Oh my God." So Ant is now, it's like he's got a fish in his hands with the keys. He's like, "Nah, I can't get it right." Goes inside. We get inside. I flip on the PA, and he's like, "Well, whose amp should I play?" So I take our guitar player's amp, and he had all this crap on it, and I just yanked it all out so it could just plug in and go.
Go.
So, and he did. So we're like any other band. We're looking at each other like, "Hey man, what do you know? What do you want to play?" So we ended up playing Zeppelin, AC/DC, Sabbath. We talked him into a Van Halen song, and he taught me how to play Mean Street, the intro. What else did we play? There's another one, like a wacky one. But yeah, and he was just so easygoing.
Wow.
And it's been 30 years, so everyone now has Ed Van Halen story. But in 1990, they didn't really have him.
Right.
I mean, they're big. They still had Sammy, they're
Yeah.
in a groom, but it's like everyone has a Gene story now. Everyone has a Ed story. And he was so he's everything you wanted him to be.
Right.
Yeah.
He didn't disappoint.
No, he didn't. Because that guitar sound, when he rolled everything to 10 and just went, hit an E chord and boom, 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 moved the hair in my arms and did not hurt my ears. Couldn't believe it. So yeah, that was the coolest one because the idea that I could be friends with an idol of mine just boggled it. Just, are you kidding? Really? Me? How? And then you just shut up and go, don't ask how it happened.
You're there. It
Yeah,
happened for a reason.
exactly.
But your talent got you there, and you know that.
Yeah, it got me in the door, but to keep me in the room. You know what I mean?
Now,
So,
you've toured with a lot of big bands. I want to say Aerosmith, Poison, Extreme. You spent a lot of time with Dio.
oh yeah,
Um,
we had the same
now,
management. Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. I have a man crush on Dave Grohl. I think Dave Grohl is such an amazing musician. I don't know if you feel that way, but
Oh yeah.
we alluded to it before. You were in the documentary for Sound City.
Yep.
Did you interact with him at all? I mean, what can you tell me about Dave Grohl?
Um, not, personally, not much, but it's been one of those things we've been on the periphery of each other's careers. Meaning, he's clearly bigger than his career. He's had more success than I have. But like with the Sound City thing, you're saying, a friend of mine got a hold of me and said, "Hey, we're doing this thing for Dave. You know, what do you got?" So I sent in a picture of the board, and then I sent her a picture of us behind the board, and that was when we were recording the Cold Sweat record. And so it was a little bit of email back and forth, but everyone I know who does know him and talks to him on a regular basis, he's never lost the fan aspect of being a musician, which I think is important. And not everyone's seen, of course, but it's just you have to. It's like watching Ed Van Halen or Gene. Ed could do Tony Iommi and Jimmy Page perfectly.
Right.
I mean, he knew how Gene. I remember jamming with Gene once, and all he wanted to play was Mustang Sally.
Really?
I was like, dude. And Jamie was like, we don't know that old crap. Come on. Let's do it. And he goes, all right, I know Cat Scratch Fever. And so Jamie goes, oh, I got to see this. He did. He knew it.
Unbelievable.
So,
I saw an interview with Taylor Hawkins, God rest his soul.
oh,
And it was him and Dave. And the interviewer said to him, how does it feel to be one of the top drummers in the world? And he says, listen, I'm not even the top drummer in my own band.
yeah.
It's so funny how these people view this. So dive in a little bit. We'll get into the PD a little bit, segue a
Sure.
little bit here. And the one thing I give you a lot of credit for, man, I spoke with, I'm not sure if you know him, but Jimmy Choi. He's a Parkinson's guy. He was on American Ninja Warrior.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
I know. I mean, I know of him. I've never met him.
I'm going to have him on. But the one thing I said to him, I said, listen, you could train and that's great. You'd probably beat my ass every day of the week with or without Parkinson's. But the fact that he was willing to put himself out there on national television in front of millions of people, I think that's where the strength comes in.
Yep.
I do. You alluded to that in the conversation we've had before this. What would you say when you were diagnosed? I mean, was there a moment where well, actually, let's not jump the gun. What were your symptoms and when were you diagnosed?
I was diagnosed in 2019. The biggest symptom I had was my left, and I remember reading this about Fox. My left ring finger was twitching, and this was during recording sessions. I was still standing up okay. I didn't have the stoop or any other tremors. Couldn't, and no one could get a handle on it. And then it turned into it was all on the left side. My left hamstring just always seemed to be kind of twitchy. And my doctor's like, hey, you got restless leg, And I'm like, oh, I mean, because I don't know. Now I'd say if I saw somebody with the same thing, like, hey, get that checked out, right? I wouldn't even think, but no one I knew had it. It's not my family. As a matter of fact, I'm part of the Camp Lejeune lawsuit. So I was there as a little kid. So, but my dad, my brother, my mom are all okay. So it's some of this weird luck of the draw. So as I like to say, I outed myself because there were starting to be a few rumblings in the rock community, and I didn't want anything to pop up on a website, after a gig. What's wrong with McLernon? Look at his hand; it's moving like crazy. So I just said, "Hey, look, this is what I got. Bring it on. If you got questions, ask me. If it matters to you, great. If it doesn't, it doesn't." But the first couple of shows I did after that, I was really self-conscious, and I always checking with the guys. Like I remember saying, Jason Beadler, "What do you think? Am I attracting attention to myself?" And he's like, "Nope, I can't tell the difference." And these are people who know me well.
and they know the music.
Yeah,
Like
right,
I'm not going to know if you make a mistake. They will.
right, right. So, but then it started getting to be a little too much. So I went on this drug called Rytari.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Or you're not, and it worked to a point. And then I started getting some dyskinesia, or as my wife would call it, I would get the Stevie Wonder head, you know, and which was okay because it would come on and off. As for those of you out there who don't know what it is, they're on and off periods. So on is to me was when the medication was working. Off was it wasn't, and I had like all off periods.
Wow.
So from there, the doctors, and I'm just looking at really aggressive, forward thinking guys and gals who said, you know what, you want to try this? And I said, what? And this is called DBS. We're going to plant what looks like meat thermometers in your head and give you a battery. I said, so I get to be a cyborg? This is awesome. And they said, yeah. I said, what'll it do? And the surgeon looks at me and goes, it'll make that stop, pointing to my left side. And I was like, let's go. So we did that. And that was literally the turning point for me. And to be able to go back in, like the very first, you'll like this. The very first day I brought my guitar in with me. When you get the implants and then you get the battery,
Right.
they do them separately. So the second time I came in, I brought the guitar when they hooked me up and doing for the dollop, as I call it. And I played "Somebody Get Me a Doctor" by Van Halen.
Awesome.
Inside jokes, gotta have them.
Well, that's why I kind of mentioned the Jimmy Choi thing, because, like I said, I feel like a lot of the strength is, and you said this to me off the air, about not being afraid to put yourself out there.
Yeah, don't hide it. Yeah.
Did it take you from first diagnosis mentally? Did it take you? I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it took me a year or so to just come to terms with it. It really did.
Yeah.
Like, at what point did you just say to yourself, "Screw this! It's part of me. It's not going to define me. I have a great career.
Right.
I'm just going to keep moving." I mean, was there a moment where that just kicked in?
Yeah, and I think it was when I made the decision to tell the guys in all my bands, just like, this is what's going on. And a couple of them had no idea. They just heard about it. So they didn't know if it was fatal, because they hear Parkinson's disease. And then the first thing you think, well, so you're like Michael J. Fox? I'm like, well, he's had it for 30 years. He's progressed quite a ways. No, I'm not like that, but yeah, that's what it is. So when it came time to kind of rubber meet the road with the band, I think is when I finally said, all right, I'm just wide open. Because up to the point I got in a huge altercation with my dad who was telling my aunts and everybody who would listen that I had it. And I'm just like, it's not your position to tell anybody. Yeah. So after that, I just kind of, you know what? I'm going to go.
You also have concerns that the common person won't. I mean, you're in the spotlight. I mean, you have a little bit of a different thing to tackle than somebody like me, So I'm sure that took its toll, because listen, stress and anxiety is no good for this.
No.
And I'm sure that took its toll on you a little bit. No.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I remember the first show, getting ready to stand up there and play, and my left hand was going crazy. Now it calmed down after about 2 songs.
Right.
But I remember
you got in your groove.
Yeah. Because I think I got my head out of the space of everyone's looking at my hand. And they weren't. They were there to sing the song.
And it's funny, all these years later, I still can't wrap my head around that. There's still people to this day that are just like, you're making more of this than we are. We don't even see the shit you're talking about. I'm like, don't lie to me. Yes, you do. But even if you're trying to make me, I can't get out of my own head, but we'll get there.
Totally agree. Because my first thought was, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
And like, as far as, I mean, I'm sure you've obviously taken, from a physical standpoint, very good care of yourself just from being on the road, and obviously knowing people are going to look at you and you need to maintain yourself to a certain standard. Yep. So I won't even get into like the PT of it. I'm sure you're just a very in shape guy. I know you said you used to surf.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Now,
my doctor says I still can, but I'm like, you know what? I've heard people drown, and I don't want to drown.
Do you think you'll ever try again, just because you have such a love for it?
Yep. Yeah. Well, and also I'm just a stubborn pain in the butt. So
that's awesome.
That's good enough for me. So you can't do it? Oh yeah. Watch it.
Watch this.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably have a life vest on that looks like, I've got a Volkswagen around my neck.
But you know what? It's one of those things. Who gives a shit?
Right.
Let them look at me, because I'm not going to care about what they thought today when I'm gone. So why should I care now?
Exactly. And you never know. Here's what's crazy about when I made the announcement. the people that came out of the Parkinson's closet and told me they had it, including a guy I went to high school with, I had no idea. I mean, we're literally within days of each other at birth, and he
In my
has it.
in my opinion, I give so much credit to people like you because listen, we're all doing this. We're all advocating. We're trying to raise funds and bring awareness to this disease. But
Yeah.
a lot more people know you than they know me. So when you're not afraid, when you're in that spotlight, to be able to say, "Hey, listen, I got it. I'm fine. So are
Right.
you." I
Right.
think that's a
Yes.
huge thing. It really is.
Yes. Totally agree, because you have to. I mean, I meant it when I said you can't hide.
Right.
And that takes so much energy anyway.
It really does.
It's like, I
It, it,
love your hat because I say the same thing to people. It's like, hey man, you can say what's shaking. I won't get offended.
and what would you say would be the number one thing that you would like? One of your friends just says to you, "Hey, I just got diagnosed with Parkinson's," or anybody. What would be the number one thing you would just say to calm them down? A bit of advice for them.
Uh, I'd say, I got it, right? And then see what their reaction was, and then just ask them, what are you doing about it? Because it's going to be more of a pain in your butt than anything else. And know even though it's in every article you read, when someone dies, they died from complications of Parkinson's. Did they? What what complication are you talking about? So after that, I think you have to calm people down, because it's so, I think, scary at some point. They're just afraid. And what they're going by, most likely, I know one friend of mine does this, they're going by an elder family member that had it in the 70s.
Right. It's a completely different.
It is. And people, like, when I tell them, like when I turn the DBS off, I'm like, well, this is what it'd be like. This is 1955. Bam. And they're just like, whoa. And they hit it. Okay, ready? Flame on. Pop. Turn it back
And
on.
you bring up something very cool because that's part of the success story is you can actually show I mean, since you've found you had Parkinson's, I've seen some of the stuff you've done. Like I said, Canal. I've seen, I want to say, did you do a Cold Sweat concert a year or so ago? Was that you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I
So,
didn't
so
do
you're,
this one because I had the HPV throat cancer to get rid of, which I did.
God
But
bless you.
but
I mean,
yeah.
listen, I'm going down the Jersey Shore and I'm trying not to drop all my change putting it into the parking meter. You're out there touring. You're the ultimate success story, man, as far as Parkinson's Warriors go, as far as non-Parkinson's Warriors go.
Thank you.
It
By the
is
way, I
so
like the fact that you can say warriors, because I never want to say I'm suffering from it or I'm battling it. I heard Fox say he's a Parkinson's patient, and I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be saddled, because battling, it makes it sound like I'm being attacked by something. No, this is something I'm stuck with. It came along with the original package, and I don't really like it, but this is 2025. There's ways around it.
well. Listen, I could list all day long a bunch of accomplishments that you've made. In my opinion, being a Parkinson's warrior and a successful one, and putting yourself out there is the number one thing you've ever done, in my opinion.
Oh, thank you.
Because you're talking to a whole community, whether you know it or not, and people are following you, and you're giving them hope. So from warrior to warrior, I cannot thank you enough.
Oh, absolutely, anytime, man. Because, as you know, it's one of those things where you can't teach if you haven't learned.
Exactly.
So not like anyone is. I mean, I'm always suspicious when somebody says, I did this or I did that, and they really dig in, they haven't. So when they talk,
Exactly.
I start getting, the other time I really get offended is when people start giving me advice on how to treat it, or like I said, the outmoded reaction and treatments that they have seen. And it's not angry, but it's just like, it's an eye rolling moment. You're just like, no, 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 it's going to be okay. And no, I'm fine.
For those of you who don't know, it's part of the story. I'm going to post the video that you sent me, if that's okay. The
Sure.
Dennis Quaid thing about the
Oh,
MUS,
yeah.
because I think that's so unbelievable what you're doing post DBS, and that we'll give DBS a quick pop. I mean, unbelievable success stories, and you're one of them.
Oh, man, I'm telling you, and it's funny, they cut part of that out, because I remember I was there with everybody in the MUSC, which is Medical University of South Carolina, because I live in Charleston. And luckily, it was like here, Atlanta. So I'm luckily in one of the top spots on the East Coast, specifically the South. So the head of the department said, well, what was your reaction when you first found out? And I said, can I swear? And she kind of looks at me and goes, yeah, go ahead. I said, I was fucking pissed. is what happened. And I just lit up the room and they called all that out. But
Good
it
for
was
you.
true. I was like, no, are you fucking kidding me? Me? No. I
This
go to
can't
the
happen to
gym,
me.
I fucking surf, I play guitar, bass around the world, run around, do all this stuff. No. So I've kind of, we talk about denial and acceptance and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I think I've accepted my denial is my
That's a
determination.
great way to put it.
You know,
Because I say
I'm
all the
not letting
time,
it stop me. I got stuff to do.
well, it's funny you say that. That's a great way to put it because I've always said, like when I'm talking to people, I'm like, the first thing is acceptance, and I still don't think I accept it, but maybe that's
No.
what it is. I haven't accepted the denial. That's a great way to put it.
Yep. Yep. Because
So the
otherwise, I think and I asked my doctor just because I love pestering them because I got them, right? You guys, I got your attention. I'm using it. And I said, okay, what do you usually get with guys my age? Because I got diagnosed in my late 50s. So it was a matter of, oh, so early. Is it? How, I didn't realize you had a copy of my death certificate. What are you talking about? So, but I said, well, what do people typically do if you're me? And they said, well, some do what you're doing, and it's not very much that we see that. They go in
no,
and they just tackle it and go. And he said a lot of them just kind of accept it and kind of ride the couch. And I was like, no,
not you, not your DNA.
not right, exactly. Other things may be, but not that.
That's unbelievable, man. So the one thing I like to do is I like to add a little fun to this before we go.
Sure.
I like to call. We're gonna shake things up and do a little rapid fire. I'm gonna
Okay.
ask you less than 10 questions,
Sure.
a couple of quick word answers.
You got it.
Um, I'm from New Jersey too. I still live in New Jersey,
There you go. Yep.
and I
Everybody in my
think
family is from New Jersey, from
really,
West Orange, and all my brothers and sisters were born in Teaneck. So yeah, I'm
all
the
right.
only one who wasn't.
I think I know this answer because I cheated and I saw an interview with you a while back. But I got to ask, Bruce or Bon Jovi?
Oh, Bon Jovi.
I knew that was the answer.
Bon Jovi. First of
Van
all, because
Halen or Van Hagar?
Richie Sambora is just such a great guy. You can't fight that. He's
I
just so
mean,
phenomenal.
do you see him getting back for a farewell tour?
I don't know if John can do it from what I've heard. I mean, just
I
meaning literally seeing him, I'm like, dude,
Yeah,
oh, you're gonna
it,
hurt
it,
yourself.
it's tough. You want to go out on top, and
Yeah.
he's trying. He's had the vocal surgeries and everything, but
But he did
Van.
a lot. He did a lot of miles on that chassis.
Oh yeah. Now you might have a little bit of a tough time with this one. Van Halen or Van Hagar?
Oh, Dave,
I know.
Dave. It's like that
Better
saying. Is
front
that
man
an
or better
arrogant?
vocalist?
Sammy can sing better. There's no doubt about that. But Dave, as a musician, he's better than Sammy. I mean, let's see Sammy come up with something like the bridge section in Unchained. You just, I mean, even Ed said to me, he's like, I don't know how Roth came up with half the shit I gave him because I'm thinking, well, yeah, you gave him hard stuff because you wanted to make him mad.
Well, do you think they gave Sammy a little more difficult stuff because they thought he would accept it more than Dave did, or no?
I think there might have been a section of their agreement, the tacit agreement with Sam that okay, we're already Van Halen,
Right.
so you're gonna make it still sound like us. So
Right.
there was more of a recipe, whereas the first time around, it was all no holds barred. You're
Because
David. Here we
am
go.
I thinking wrong? Was Gary Sharon in there somewhere in
He
between
was. He was.
from Extreme, right?
Yep.
It didn't last very long, I guess.
No, well, that was when the Dave thing happened. Dave came back on MTV and then blew up and all that. So, oh
All right.
well, so close.
So, favorite guitarist not named Chris McLernon?
Easy. I got a couple.
I'll take a couple. Go ahead.
All right. I like Billy Gibbons, Gary Moore, Brian Robertson, Scott Gorham, obviously. I think the guys I was in bands with certainly, they're up there because I had to listen to them every night. I better like them. I think Rick Emmett from Triumph was and probably still is amazing. Blackmore, Willie Roth, Michael Schenker. So a lot of as the era would probably dictate. I think there's some underrated guys like Rick Nielsen, Mike Campbell from Tom Petty.
You're also, what I love about this is you're not listing the Hendrix, the Claptons,
No.
I love that. You're really digging and giving us some awesome names.
Yeah.
The Jeff Becks. I mean, there's so many great.
Love Jeff Beck. To me, was still, up to his death, he was still the most modern guitar player I ever heard. He always sounded like he was outside of the genre and styles of that time. Whereas a lot of my guys, you can kind of go, oh, he's from 74. You can just tell.
Right.
Not Beck.
Wow. Favorite drummer?
Ringo.
And
Always the right part for the song. Always.
If we're going to make a super group, favorite lead man, frontman?
Well, Roth for the show, for sure.
Freddie Mercury up there or no?
Oh, absolutely. Plant, I gotta say, is up there. Not a Stones fan, so I can't say Jagger, but Jagger invented the position. Yeah. He really did.
Bruce, with a little help from Tina Turner, right? I think they said Tina Turner. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Helped him with some of his dance moves.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Dickinson for sure. So I mean, I think there's two types that you want: the showman and you want the executor who can do his parts live. So I'm always picky on that.
Last two.
Sure.
You're stranded on a desert island by yourself. You can only bring one album with you, not even a group, an album. What's it going to be?
Beatles Revolver.
Awesome.
No question.
And the world ends tomorrow. What is the last, not the first, the last great rock band that we heard?
Oh, that's a great rock band. Ooh, good one.
I mean, I should tell you from a genre standpoint, I like the Shinedown, the Daughtries, the Volbeats. I don't know if you consider them great rock bands or.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
Shinedown
that's why I like.
Is among the best of the modern bunch.
Who is?
Shinedown.
I think they're phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean,
staring down the barrel of 45. I mean, they are so great. I love Shinedown.
Yep. But I mean, I love the Scorpions. Like number 2, right behind the Desert Island Disc, would be Love Drive.
Doesn't he have such an unbelievable voice?
Well, it's so soulful.
Wind to Change.
When Lemmy died, Mickey D got it before he joined the band. They did Overkill, and I'm thinking to myself, how's this going to go? You know, because it's Klaus singing Motorhead. You talk about polar opposites, but he sang like Klaus said. It was fantastic. I loved it.
It's unbelievable. Well, listen, I've taken up enough of your time.
Dude,
Chris, I want to thank you so much. Like I said, this has been such an honor for me. I was a little starstruck getting you on. I must have caught you during an off period when you accepted to come on here. But this has been so cool. I'm going to remember this forever. I hope to have you on maybe again one day. We can talk a little rock and roll some more.
Anytime.
And until next time, I'm just going to say, keep moving, keep laughing, and keep connecting. Love you guys. Thank you so much.
Parkinson's affected my ability to play an instrument, and the mental capacity I had was still there, but these physical things just kept eroding. As soon as I got the surgery, I could feel the difference. And I remember bringing in my guitar, and I specifically played a Van Halen song that I knew I couldn't play before, but I hadn't tried it since I'd gotten the operation. So I brought it in and ripped it right out. Could not believe it. And the fact that I could play and play easily and play smoothly and professionally is just worth everything.